other countries, especially in the developed world, are able to pay players. Players are actually able to focus fully on sport. What can Kenya do to get to that level?
I think just getting to that level needs a lot of resources, to be honest. The kind of resources that's needed for you to be able to get a player to wake up in the morning, end the training, come back home in the evening, and then at the end of the day, getting paid and living a very comfortable life needs lots of resources. And I think for Kenya, I think what needs to be done, we just need more and more people to get invested into the game. We need corporates to come into the game. We need the government to really come into the game. I think for us, the union cannot do it alone. And I think just getting one sponsor, and unless that sponsor really has some kind of muscle to be able to fund it, because if you're looking at it at that professional setup, you're talking about contracting players for a minimum 3 years, for them getting paid well to be able to play the game. I won't compare ourselves to countries such as South Africa or New Zealand, of course, because our dynamics are quite different. For those guys, for them it's fully professional. They begin at a very younger age. They grow up into that professional setup until they retire. So for us, I think we're not even asking for much. I think all we're asking for is guys just getting a consistent salary, and I think just being able to be taken care of, and guys not to worry about where they're getting their next meal. Because that is what really is harming the game in Kenya. You can't really get players to commit. I know so many players would have loved to continue with their playing career, but they have to cut it short because now they're getting families. They have to think of, hey, my family has to eat. Maybe this rugby is not helping me out here and there. Maybe the salaries are coming in, yes, but they're not that consistent. Maybe the contract is not, the job security is not really up there. So you find guys moving on to other things and trying just to secure their future. But I think all we need to do for us is just get investors into the game. We really have to invest in the sport, get proper facilities as well, the training gym, training fields, and all that stuff. I think really build up to a team performing well and consistently. And I think sometimes when we try and get it right in Kenya, I cannot say that to Kombali sana. We have been there. We have been in that situation where we've really tried, and I think we were on the brink of breaking that professional, semi-professional, professional barrier. Because now we had guys training full-time, guys playing full-time, their salaries are coming on time, guys are being paid well, guys are comfortable, guys are not starting to worry about other things where they're getting the next meal. So I think for us, we have been there. I can't say it to Kopabaya. We have been there and we've seen what is taken. We had a good gym. We were training in good fields. We were training Uko Brookhouse. All these group of schools, we have very good fields. So for us, I think it's just a matter of us getting our act together. And I think we should be in a good place in a couple of years.
Despite all the challenges that Kenya rugby players are facing and the national team, I mean, you guys are getting paid well, but maybe not as well as your counterparts in Europe or even in South Africa. But how did you manage, Mr. Collins Injera, how did you manage to become the second all-time leading try scorer? How?
I don't even know.
And these people are doing it full time.
I'd say it's just hard work, and I think setting goals and really working towards them. Like I said, I think if it would have been a different environment, it would have been another story. But I think for us, because we've grown up with this kind of, I won't say hardship, but with this kind of challenge, I think we've learned how to maneuver and I think get through these kind of challenges. Because I believe, I kid you not, I think if you bring a professional player to this kind of setup, I don't think he'd last even a month. We've had coaches who have come from these big professional setups coming here, and actually the first thing they always say is, how do you guys do it? Because they don't understand. They actually don't understand, honestly. They actually ask you, how do you guys do this? You come out there. I think that's why, and I think one of the coaches that was here who came from a professional environment really summed it up well. He said, I think that is why you guys will always be inconsistent. It will always be, because one day you look like world beaters, the next day you look like you've not even trained together for a week. Yeah. That is why we usually struggle with our performances. But he said the moment you guys get it together, I think you can be a very big team in World Rugby Sevens. That's his exact words. And I think for us, I think that's the biggest challenge that we need to work on, because I don't think it's that rocket science. I think it's just getting that kind of environment to be able for you to perform consistently. So I think just to answer your question when you said how did I do it, for me, I think it came down to the goals I had set for myself when I started playing the game. It also came down to a lot of hard work and a lot, if I say a lot, trust me, a lot of sacrifices that had to be made for me to be able to achieve the goal that I had set out. And of course, because of the teammates that I have had over the years, I wouldn't have done it without them. I mean, starting from 2007 or 8 when I joined the team. You see, that's a long time. I've played with lots of teammates, changing team up to now, even with lots of coaches. So for me, I think it has been a collective. What is it called? Collective. What's the word? I don't know. Yes, collective effort from each and everyone for me to be able to attain that goal. And of course, like as you know, I've missed a couple of seasons. Because of one thing or here and there. Maybe if things were different, maybe it would have been different. But I'm happy where I am at the moment. I mean, at the moment, it's second time. I was once the leading try scorer, then got overtaken. Yeah, but I mean, we say it is what it is. Yeah.
Okay, now, but you mentioned you brought an important point.
Yeah.
You brought an important point. Let's start on just what you think is the problem with the lack of cohesiveness. Because, like you said, the sevens team sometimes is inconsistent.
Yeah.
You guys can pick and do very well, but then what's the reason?
I mean, it's not one reason. It's a couple of reasons. But I'll say the ones that I think are really dear to my heart, and also the ones that I think, because I've been in lots of systems, I think the one that is really hurting us. I think the number one is we've never had a consistent, I can say, training squad. Because of this signing of 1 year or 8 months contracts. We've never had, yes, you'll have consistent faces. You'll have like 5 guys always remaining. You'll have, me, I've been there. I mean, people might say, why are you saying we've never had a consistent training squad? And you've been there all through. Yes, I've been there. But one man alone cannot do this. You see? You'll have a squad that's maybe playing very well. I'll take an example of 2018. We had a very good squad, merging experience with young guys. Played very well. Guys got back-to-back finals. Yeah? Guys, now we were picking up. But then after that, we had issues with playing unit, with the management, with the union. And you can see, if you mention that squad, how many are in that squad are there in the team now? It's very few. It's not even a lot. It's not even lots of guys. So for me, I think it's that changing of squads in terms of just trying to fix. I think we always say this sport we can't. It's not something that you can fix now. And it's said, ameharibu, let's fix now. You've seen international squads. Guys play very poorly this season, come back next season playing quite well. It's because they're maintaining that team camaraderie and that team effort, because these are guys who have gone through this dark period together. Now it's up to them for them to be able to move onto the other phase of just trying to perform well. So I think for me, number one is not having a consistent squad, at least a squad that's there for like 2-3 years. Yes, people think it's selfish. I don't think it's selfish. I think if you're bringing in new guys, bring them slowly. We have the academy level, come in the squad slowly. Not a matter of getting guys out, bringing new guys in, because you see that's really disrupt. Because you'll find a new, maybe say for example, this squad will be under a certain coach. They'll be learning new skills, doing new drills, passing and all that stuff. Now you get half that squad, you get them out, you bring half new squad. Now you go back to where you began, start learning about passing. You see? And then here you are, umetoa watu wenye, they had already reached that level. So you always find there's this big in-between gap. You'll find there are guys who are very well experienced, are guys who their skills are up to the playing level of the world rugby. And then you'll find guys who, yes, are very good, they are fast, they are strong, but skill level, you cannot compare. So you'll find this gap in the middle, that's where we need to bridge that gap. That gap in the middle is where we usually struggle with. Because you'll find guys who have started bridging that gap, then next season they are not there. Wametolewa, new fresh blood coming in. I advocate for fresh blood, yes, but bring them in slowly. And also have, I think in terms of just management level, have a consistent coaching structure. I mean, the coaching unit has to be very consistent, because one day you have this coach learning the new, his ways of playing, his ways of teaching new skills. Then the next season, you have a different coach who comes and now scraps everything off from what you had learned, brings in a new one. So you see that kind of up and down, you'll never find, it's very hard for you. Yes, you'll have good performances, maybe once in a while, but you'll never have that consistent performance like other teams, which will come from a final in Dubai, final in South Africa, go to a final in Australia, a final in Hong Kong. So I think that's where we are struggling with. That's consistency. We just need to also be consistent in terms of our squad as well, the training squad, and also the training, the coaching unit as well. Okay. Yeah. Because I don't think we're asking for much. Guys would think that these guys just want to be paid well. I think all we're asking for is that consistency of salaries, consistency of training squad, consistency of the coaching unit, and just resources being available. I know we cannot be, at the moment we can't just jump into that level here, but it's somewhere we can start, because we've been there before. We've been in a final before. We've won a tournament with this kind of what was going well. I think what should people ask themselves, what was going well that time that is not being done now, so that we can start from there and then build up to that level.